Our next guest played 768 National Hockey League games, 105 of them for the Vancouver Canucks, and he was there when some of these young bucks started creeping into the lineup. Pettersson, Boeser, and others. It's our pleasure to welcome Michael Del Zotto to Sick Harrison Price. Michael, how are you? Thanks for the time.
I'm great, thanks. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. First of all, catch us up with you. What's up these days?
A lot of travel. I just got back from Mexico, my best buddy's bachelor party there. I'm heading to New York on Wednesday to see my nephews play in the Rangers Islanders alumni game. Then I'm heading to Scottsdale in a few weeks for the Waste Management Open for work. I'm doing some work with a luxury golf travel company, All Access. So we curate bucket list golf trips all over the world. So I'll be there for that. And then from there, I'll be flying to Vegas for the Super Bowl. Then I'm in Toronto for a wedding. Yeah, a lot of travel these last 6 or 7 weeks, but living in Miami now, kind of sick and tired of the cold. Don't want to shovel snow anymore or put a parka on or a toque. So wherever I can be in a bathing suit and t-shirt, I'm happy.
Michael, what I'm hearing is that hockey got in the way of a pretty good life.
You know what? Hockey was amazing. I'm enjoying retirement. It was time for me. The last couple of years, I wasn't enjoying the game as much as I used to. I wasn't loving coming to the rink every single day, and I kind of knew that the time was coming. And listen, all good things come to an end, and unfortunately, in our profession, you can only play for so many years. And I knew the time was right. And once the season started up again, and I wasn't missing that much, I wasn't watching hockey. I was really enjoying life and enjoying having some control of where I live, be where I got to go and who I was spending time with. I knew that I made the right decision, and no knock on hockey. I made so many amazing relationships, friendships, lifetime memories, but I'm definitely excited and enjoying the next chapter.
I always am amazed and impressed by guys like yourself. Over 700 games, played for 9 teams, and then the last couple of years, the years you're talking about here, we're in the AHL, and yet you still were you playing those games because it was in the AHL and it was playing hockey for some money, or were you still thinking I'm going to get a call up here, and were you still trying to live out the dream a little bit?
Well, I didn't think I belonged there. I mean, if you just look at my numbers alone, especially last year in Anaheim, the Anaheim was a horrendous team, and it's like they just kept wanting to lose. And I wasn't brought up in that type of mindset, playing for New York, having John Tortorella as a coach. It didn't matter if you made league minimum, you were 19 years old, or you made 10 million and you were 40 years old, you scored 1 goal or 40 goals. If you deserved to play, you played, right? There was no politics, there was no nonsense. And unfortunately, last year when I got traded to Anaheim, San Diego, they essentially promised me a call-up if I played well and I mentored the kids. And, in my eyes, and a lot of people who were involved in the organization there in San Diego would say I exceeded expectations and never got that call-up. The same thing kind of happened the year before with Ottawa. And, it just got to the point where I thought I deserved more, and I wasn't getting it, and I wasn't going to keep begging for a job or keep begging for an opportunity. If the time comes, the time comes. And sometimes you have to face reality, and it's not always the easiest to do. It's sometimes some harsh news and not one you may be ready for. But I was preparing for this moment for many years. I knew it would come, and very thankful to have the parents that I do that have instilled, quality values in me and told me that it wasn't always about hockey as much as I was able to live my childhood dream. There is more to life.
31 points in 40 games last year. That sounds pretty good to me.
And 13 and 26 with the Senators when last we saw you in the NHL. Okay, so the last couple of years weren't all that enjoyable, Michael. How did you feel about your time here in Vancouver with the Canucks?
Well, my first year there was the only year of my career I played a full 82 games, so that was special for me. Obviously, we didn't make playoffs, and those are expectations that you have every year playing in a market like Vancouver. The fans don't accept anything less than that. I think getting a year with the Twins and their last year was very, very special. 2 of the classiest individuals you'll ever meet. I enjoyed my time in Vancouver. I would have liked to maybe play there a little bit longer, but I'm happy to see the success that they're having. As you talked about before, Petey and Bess were there. They had their first years while I was there, and they were like little brothers to me. I happened to see them. I think it was in October when I was there for the Canucks autism charity event, and being able to catch up with PD and Bess was, I felt like a proud older brother, seeing them have success and how much fun they were having winning again. So really happy for the team and where they're at right now.
Yeah, you were very much there during the passing of the Torts era of the Canucks. What did you first make of Pettersson when you saw him on the ice?
I mean, the guy was 150 pounds soaking wet. He obviously has that offensive talent and the way his ability to shoot the puck. But his competitive nature for a smaller guy, I don't say smaller, for not as thick of a guy as maybe some other forwards would be, his competitive nature is his ability to go into the dirty areas, his care to win every single night on the defensive side, throwing his weight around a little bit. I love that. It's a little bit of that old school flair in him. Was very, very impressed with him. And I'd say he's exceeded. He's what everyone wanted him to be, but I still think he's exceeded expectations. So he's a treat to watch every single game. You may not get points every single night, but he still has a positive influence on the game every single night he steps on the ice.
Same question on Boeser. You were there, if I'm not mistaken, for Brock's first full season. He had made the cameo in 9 games the year before. And the Boeser story here, Michael, that he's up around the league leaders in terms of goals this season.
Yeah, I'm so happy for him because, it's no secret what he was dealing with on the family side in his personal life last, not even just last year, the last few years. And it doesn't get, you don't want to talk about it, but it doesn't get talked about enough, what guys have to deal with away from the rink. It's not, you're expected to perform every single night. I understand that. But as I mentioned before, there's bigger things in hockey out there, and family being number one. And what he had to endure and go through, I could only imagine what it was like on a daily basis. And now it seems like he's just having more fun being at the rink, and he's not having that over his hanging over him, and he feels a little bit more free. And I'm so happy for him because, again, what he had to deal with, you don't wish that upon anyone. And for him to overcome that and, truthfully shut up some of the media who weren't exactly on his side when he was going through that. I'm so happy for him.
The time of year that is now is another time where a player might feel a little bit uneasy personally as well, because the trade deadline is not too far away. And even on a great team, heck, we've been bandying about some great players here on the Vancouver Canucks who just might have to be the cost of doing business at the trade deadline. You were traded a bunch. What did the trade deadline seem ominous to you all the time, and how upsetting was that personally when you get traded? Not only the comment to you as a player necessarily of the feeling of maybe being unwanted, but just having to figure out the bank accounts, figure out the addresses, and all that sort of stuff. It seems like it would be a huge pain in the ass.
Listen, getting traded once, you learn pretty quickly the business side of the game. And that's when it starts to wear on you a little bit. You play for the love of the game, and you play as if you're a kid. And but once that first trade happens, and you understand right away, like this is a cruel business. For some people, it's tougher than others because there's some people who are a little bit more introverted, some people who aren't the most outgoing or social, and that takes a little bit of time to get used to. And not only just away from the rink, but at the rink as well. There's some guys, you look at guys, there's some superstar players will get traded, they get moved to other markets, and they struggle for a little bit. It takes time. You feel comfortable in a setting. It may take a year or 2 years to feel that again, whether it's with line mates, just finding friends, if you're having kids or a wife, having them feel comfortable in a certain situation. Different staff, you have 23 players, you have probably another 10, 15 staff. Then you have the back end staff that are at the rink, people that you're seeing that are working at the arena. There's so many different things that go into it when you're moving cities. It's not the most comfortable for everyone. Unfortunately, for me, it happened to be so many times I didn't have a choice but to be comfortable with it. So it became easy for me, and I just was able to make friends and memories in so many different cities.
Last question from me, Michael, but Canucks sitting there at the top of the Pacific, defending Stanley Cup champion Vegas Golden Knights in chase, and then there are those Edmonton Oilers who have won 13 games in a row. What do you make of this Pacific division and how it's going to shake out the rest of the way and into the playoffs?
Yeah, to be honest, Vegas was my pick to win it again at the start of the year. They've dealt with some injuries, and in a salary cap world now, if you have injuries, it's tough to be good. There's a team like them too that doesn't have the most depth in their system because they've tried to win every single year, so they've traded a lot of those pieces. It's hard. Injuries are tough, and the goaltending was never their strength. But they kind of just got hot last year. Hill got hot. And I think their back end is built old school where they're big. It makes it tough to get to the net and tough to the dirty areas to score. As far as Vancouver goes, very impressive. I think for them, when I was there for the charity event a couple months prior, Tocchet I know a little bit, but I had an opportunity to talk with Adam Foote, and of course, legendary player and career. But speaking to him on how he coaches, and not just on the hockey side, but dealing with personalities and players and what they may be dealing with away from the rink, I was in awe. I could have listened to him speak all day. Not many coaches have that awareness or understanding of the personal side of the game, or care about that. To be quite honest with you, like all they care about is the numbers, winning and points and whatnot. So speaking to him was such a breath of fresh air, because that doesn't happen often that you have a coach who thinks or cares that way. As far as Edmonton, you knew they were going to turn it on. McDavid and Draisaitl, they have too many really good players. For me, I still don't love how they're built come playoff time. I don't know if they're going to get it done, and they may make me eat my words. But I do think once Vegas gets healthy, they're going to go on a little bit of a heater here.
Before you go, you mentioned John Tortorella earlier. We just passed the 10-year anniversary of him storming the Bastille, as we talk about here in Vancouver, and that incident with the Flames. And it was an infamous year with the Canucks. I didn't think he'd get another job. Spend 6 years with the Blue Jackets, taking them to the playoffs. And then after that, I thought, okay, that's probably it for Torts. Flyers go back and get him. And he's done unbelievable this year with what he's been given with the Philadelphia Flyers. Like they trade away Claude Giroux leaves, pardon me, and look at what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Talk about Tortorella. What was your relationship like, and are you surprised that he continues to juice rosters the way he does and get the most out of them?
Me and him definitely got in a lot of FU matches early on in my career. I came in as an offensive defenseman, and he allowed me to have my swagger, but at the same time, as I mentioned before, I didn't care who you were. Everyone was buying into the team system. Was the only way we were going to win. And he taught me the art of blocking shots and how to defend and being a professional every single day. So we didn't always see eye to eye when it came to that. But then I had him again when I was 29 and played for Columbus. It was one of my favorite years because I got to show him, hey, look what I've become, look what I've grown into, not only as a player but as a person as well. He really thickened my skin at a young age, and after having him, there wasn't really any coach or anyone for that matter that could get under it, because I just dealt with so much with him. But I wish I had him the rest of my career. He was fair across the board. He knew where he stood at all times. So what he's doing in Philly, I'm not surprised. He brings a team closer together, and they've got rid of a few of maybe the bad apples or the bad team chemistry guys there. And you look at that team every single night, they work their tails off. They defend very hard, so they have a chance to win every single night. And that group has now come together because of it. And they have a team belief that they can make the playoffs.
He is absolutely that parent who goes, you'll thank me in time. You'll be a better man and a better person for it. We've heard so many stories about that, about Torts that are in that vein. Michael, this was great fun. So enjoy Miami and the shorts and T-shirt and the wasted management,
like that kind of thing,
and the Super Bowl and all the great things that are happening in your life these days. And we'll catch up down the road.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Finning Canada is your local dealer for cat equipment built to handle work in Western Canada. Visit finning.com for a location nearest you.